Hi, I'm Andrea the Book Lady, also known as the Astro Tracker. And I have to say, I hear no evil. I see no evil. I speak no evil. I'm here to say astrology is not evil. This is the third misinformation or mistake that's out there about what astrology is. I know that some of you are afraid that it may be evil because of the Bible, but how can it be evil when I want you to look at this picture in back of me? How can that, which is so divinely ordered, be evil? And if you do believe in God and you believe that God created everything and he created the stars and the planets in the heavens and us and everything else, how can you believe that that is evil? It is not. All I am and all astrologers are people who just track that. Yes, we can also be known as astronomers, but we're also astrologers. We also, what makes us a little bit different is we look at historically where the planets have been. And then we go back and we can tell you, well, historically, this happened to you back then. So you may have something come up that's very similar at this period of time. That's what astrologers do. This is why I call myself an astro tracker. I'm like a hunter. I'm looking for clues about what happened before. And since we do know, for example, Uranus and Gemini always puts the United States into war. Well, it doesn't put it in war. We go into war ourselves. Well, why does it happen every 84 years? It's every time Uranus goes into Gemini. Huh. So there's certain things that do repeat. And we know as astrologers, we've seen this. Also, Venus retrograding in one of the mercurial signs, which is Gemini or Virgo, will cause civil unrest. We don't have it coming up this year, but maybe next year. So we have some things coming up. So we can tell this, we can tell you what's going to go on. There are actually astrologers who can tell you like how the markets are going to go up and down. But this isn't evil. All we are is trackers. We're hunters. Okay. And by the way, we believe in the divine order that the creator has presented us with. And I believe that he has given us the ability to look. I mean, look at man has been using the stars to navigate for years, to find their way through the wilderness, to go across oceans. Pilots use it, meteorologists use it. So this is not evil. And also, just to add to that, in the Bible, we have the three kings, also known as the three wise men, also known as the three magi. They're not magicians, they're just wise guys, not as wise as the great wise guy. There's a greater wise guy up there. But bottom line is, they were astrologers. That is how they knew to follow the star, which, by the way, a lot of astrologers think was a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. I personally am not so sure about that, but bottom line, uh, that is who they are. And so, therefore, if they're in the Bible and they give gifts to the Holy Child, how can that make, how can they be evil? How can they be evil? So, the other thing is that some people will say, "Oh, well, you're fortune telling." Not really fortune telling. I'm not fortune telling. I'm just tracking where the stars are going to heaven. So I look at history and all that, see what's happened before, ask you what's happened to you, what's happened before. Yes, it does. There is an element of symbology in it. And so I will say that just like when you drive down the street and you see a sign in front of your church that has a message that seems like it's just for you, well, that's what symbology is about. You turn on the radio, there's a song that comes on. It's just the perfect song that you needed to hear today. This is what symbology is about. It's about these things coming in front of our face that symbolize certain things that we understand. You know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I saw a butterfly after my dad passed away, or a cardinal after my mom passed away." And then they relate that to their loved one who's passed away. This is what symbology is about. So astrology does combine symbology, which, by the way, the astronomers are the ones who named these planetary celestial bodies. They named them, and then we utilize the symbology connected to them. I will talk about astronomers later because astronomers being really, they were originally astrologers and they were trying to figure out how the heavens worked. Um, I have had some people who were afraid to get consultations with me because they considered this fortune telling. But you know what fortune telling is? Fortune telling, look it up. Fortune telling is you see one of those neon signs that says psychic on the side of the road, and you go in there and it says $5. And then you get in there, and then they talk you into giving them their life savings for them to burn a candle because they told you you have bad luck. Okay, that's fortune telling. That's no fortune telling, really. That's like bad, no, that isn't what we do. So astrology isn't evil. I just want to be clear about that. We don't hear any evil, see any evil, speak any evil. What we see is the divine order. You can see it right there. The divine order. Let me see if I can show you this. The divine order as presented in the heavens. There's no way that could be. If God made it, how could it be evil? What do you think? See you later.